Nightline will not be seen tonight so that we may bring you the following ABC News special. The 92 vote. Tonight, the Super Tuesday primaries. Reporting from ABC News election headquarters, David Brinkley and Peter Jennings.
Good evening and welcome back to our coverage of Campaign 92. We spent an hour in prime time talking about Super Tuesday, and we're now going to try something a little different. We're going to push it out a bit now and spend this next half hour or a couple of minutes longer talking about the two next big tests, which are Illinois and Michigan. What's your impressions of Super Tuesday, first of all? Pretty good night for Clinton, pretty good night for Bush.
Very good night for Clinton and another good night for Bush. Bush has won every primary so far, while everyone talks about what bad trouble he's in. So we'll see how that works out. But it's Michigan, the next two states will really decide.
Okay, we're going to talk to people in those states. We're going to talk to our own reporters in those states tonight about how they go. So I hope you'll stay with us for the half hour. Just in case you've been out for the evening or something, let's have a look quickly at the way things went on Super Tuesday. First, for the Democrats. Here are the way the states lined up for the Democrats tonight. Governor Clinton won 7 states. You can see them there: Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Florida. Florida was going to be the big contest between he and former Senator Tsongas. Governor Clinton did even better in Florida than people imagined. Former Senator Tsongas won 3 states, 1 caucus in Delaware, and 2 primary states, Massachusetts and Rhode Island. And these are the number of delegates they won tonight. Remember, Super Tuesday is the richest harvest of delegates so far in the presidential campaign. 508 for Clinton tonight, 195 for Tsongas, 17 for Jerry Brown, who came in a very competitive second with Governor Clinton in both Rhode Island and in Massachusetts. Here's what it looks like for the Republicans tonight. President Bush across the board in terms of victory. He won all 8 states tonight: Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Florida, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, the same as it was on the primary states for the Democrats. And Pat Buchanan did not win any state. It was not expected that he would, but to give you some sense of how Buchanan's campaign is doing as it goes along, here's a look at the popular vote on the Republican side. George Bush overall tonight in all of those states getting about 69% of the vote. Pat Buchanan 27%, under 30, which means a little bit, in fact quite a bit, behind where he was in New Hampshire. And there's an interesting story at the bottom of that list. David Duke virtually disappears everywhere except in the state of Mississippi. Pat Buchanan, in his sister's words, David, early on said they've done something tonight which President Bush hasn't been able to do all year, and that's put away David Duke.
It appears they have. He got 1 state in Mississippi, was his only reasonable state. He got 12%. That's the best he's done. It's not very good.
In order to get us rolling along Illinois and Michigan, let's go to Lynn Scher, who's been studying all of the exit polls today. In the half hour we've had during your local news, we've asked Lynn to take a look at some of the detail we got from the exit polls on Super Tuesday, which may be a hint to either problems or challenges for the Democrats and the Republicans in Illinois and Michigan. Okay, Lynn?
Well, Peter, the 2 leading Democrats have a very clear assignment next week: translate their solid regional victories into votes in a part of the country that neither can claim as a home base. Now, Bill Clinton won a huge majority of Southern blacks tonight. Can he do the same with blacks in Illinois and Michigan? Another challenge: the labor vote. In the South, Governor Clinton won union members big, 69%, or rather 68%, compared to 18% for Tsongas, 7% for Jerry Brown. Will that support travel to the industrial Midwest? As for his opponent, Paul Tsongas lost Florida today, but he did well among the white Catholic vote in Florida, splitting that vote with Clinton. And since white Catholics make up a large portion of the vote in next Tuesday's primaries, this is a critical group. Jerry Brown has an even bigger problem. He's got to build upon his support among those disaffected voters, the ones who care about the environment and the homeless, so that he can place better than second in a large state. The issue for the Republican candidates is even clearer: how to deal with the growing anger among voters. According to our exit polls, 7 out of 10 Republican voters are dissatisfied with the way the federal government is working. And a quarter of the Republicans said they're not just dissatisfied, they're angry. Most of them voted for Pat Buchanan. Now, one trigger of that anger is George Bush's reversal on his no new taxes pledge. Of those who said it was an important factor in their vote, 58% voted for Buchanan in the South, only 33% for President Bush. The question is, can the president overcome that? For Pat Buchanan, an even simpler question, break out of that protest vote to build a bigger base. Can he do that? Stay tuned. Gentlemen?
Okay, Lynn, thanks very much. And stay tuned indeed, because Michigan, with 131 delegates and the highest unemployment in the nation, is one of those key battlegrounds for next week. In just a moment, we'll come back to talk to the governor of Michigan, John Engler, who's a Republican governor, sitting there on your left, and Gary Corbin on your right, the Michigan State Democratic chair. They're both in Lansing. We'll be back in just a moment.
This ABC News special. The 92 vote, the Super Tuesday primaries. Brought to you tonight by Carnival Cruise Line. ABC News coverage of the 92 vote will continue in a moment.
Know where I am? I'm at one of the finest resorts in the world. And if you're looking for a great vacation value, look no more. All your daytime fun, all your nighttime entertainment, and all your food is included in one low price. But what makes this resort really great is that it takes you to some of the world's other great vacation spots.
In the morning, in the evening, Carnival's got the fun.
Fun. That's what makes Carnival the most popular cruise line in the world.
I'm alive. Sonia Schofield.
For a free list of cars with airbags, see your Allstate agent.
When a man ran a grueling 26-mile marathon in a pair of dress shoes, what was he thinking? He was thinking, I'm glad they're Rockports. Rockport, you should be in our shoes.
Use this book. Get used. It is the one that we use. Use, sometimes abused, but still the one that we use. Use the one we use.
It's the one that gets used. U.S. West Direct.
That's why it's
Get American deals on American wheels. Buy this Grand Am Coupe and get air conditioning, anti-lock braking system, cruise control, tilt wheel, and AM/FM stereo cassette, all for only $12,859. Plus, Pontiac will invest in America for you with a $50 U.S. savings bond for a test drive. Buy the car Consumers Digest said was a best buy and get a bond free if you test drive it this week. See Jim Weston, Braley and Graham, Royal Moore, John Link, Bill Copps, Breslin, and Alan Hadley. A free savings bond if you test drive one this week.
He said, "Die, daughter, die." And then he killed her. An ancient custom comes home to America. A chilling prime time, Thursday.
Welcome back to our coverage of Campaign 92. Joining us this evening from Michigan are Governor John Engler, who's the Republican governor of Michigan. He's there on your left, and Gary Corbin, the Michigan State Democratic chair, who's on the right. If I could ask you both a sort of question about, in a sort of non-bipartisan or in a bipartisan way to start. Everybody's talking about your state as if it's mean and angry and fed up with politicians. Governor Engler, how much will all the candidates have to face up there next week?
Well, I think there's a lot that the candidates are going to have to face. I'm particularly interested on the Democratic side. We had a very powerful Michigan congressional leader today, John Dingell, come out and urge everybody to vote uncommitted. Wants to broker the convention. That's the position that organized labor is taking. I think on the Republican side, it'll be another win for George Bush and route to an undefeated season in the prelims.
Yeah, but it's a little more than just an undefeated season for President Bush up in Michigan, isn't it? Aren't they angry at him, too?
Oh, sure they are. They're angry at all politicians. I think that, we're going to have a tough election coming up. We've had good success in Michigan. The president's had a lot of support in Michigan in the past. And I think that when we get head-to-head for November, we're going to do very well. But right now, with Pat Buchanan here, his America First campaign, as he pulls into Michigan in his Mercedes, is going to be a little difficult to sell, I think.
Let me go back to Pat Buchanan for a second. Ask Mr. Corbin first. Mr. Corbin, how angry are Democrats and Republicans in Michigan about the general state of politics?
Well, citizens are very angry. And for George Bush to claim victory, it's like being a member of the band on the Titanic playing while it's going down. This economy is in serious trouble, and it's caused by an administration that's asleep in the stateroom. They haven't been up on deck for 3.5 years.
You noticed how long that bipartisanship lasted, David.
Well, it didn't last very long. I did notice that. And it didn't last very long in Michigan either. Mr. Corbin, what would you have George Bush do?
Well, first of all, 2 plants have already closed in Michigan, 9,000 jobs, a state that has the highest industrialized unemployment rate in the nation. This administration has no industrial policy whatsoever. He needs a vision for this nation, which includes working men and women. People here in Michigan believe this president hasn't a clue as to what working men and women go through on a day in and day out basis. He's never lived through experience, and they're going to give him a first-hand experience at unemployment in November.
Mr. Corbin, we couldn't get a union leader in your entire state today to come on and talk to us about the labor vote in that state. Is the Democratic Party in that much disarray now that Senator Harkin has left?
No, I think what will happen is that candidates will have to reach out to the industrial Midwest, and no candidate can claim this is their region. That's why they can establish themselves as national party candidates here in Michigan and in Illinois. And in the next week, I think these candidates will be reaching out.
And Governor Engler, you know very well that Pat Buchanan isn't going to roll up in a Mercedes, even though he does drive one in Washington, and you can't wish him away that easy. How much of a threat do you think he is next week?
Well, I think he's going to get his, his routine, about a third. His people are saying over 40%. I think that's really a reach. George Bush is going to win Michigan. That's our goal, just to keep on the winning streak. And, and get ready for November. Nobody in America believes George Bush won't be the nominee of the Republican Party. And the real question is, what can we take out of this Michigan primary opportunity for the week? The president will be here. Vice President will be here. That helps us for the fall.
What will we see in Michigan next week that is the biggest threat to George Bush in November?
Oh, I think that we've got to see how the battle lines get drawn on the economic agenda. The president's got a plan. He's had a plan in front of Congress. They won't act. You've got a classic showdown coming. We've seen that Congress candidates, Harkin and Kerry, hit the deck early and were out. I think that there's very much a classic battle shaping up in Michigan on economic issues, pocketbook issues for the fall. And I think the Congress is going to have to be as attentive to passing the president's program and real economic agenda items as they are to, say, dealing with their banking problems and all that stuff that's going on.
Governor, we heard today that the Bush strategy from here on will be to run against the Democratic Congress. Does that sound to you like the answer?
I think it absolutely is the answer, and I think that that's going to resonate across this country. I think there's a tremendous frustration. The real privileged class in America, and they're now down there trying to raise $100 billion in new taxes that the president's going to make it very clear he's going to veto. That's the strategy, and that's the real issue. The Democrats have run the Congress. They've held the president's program hostage without having one of their own. That's going to be a classic debate, and it'll be interesting to see how Clinton, Tsongas, or Brown, who got a big local union endorsement today from the UAW in Michigan, will face that.
Thank you, Governor Engler. Thank you, Mr. Corbin, as well. A number of Democrats today have made the point that perhaps they should campaign on the basis they have a Democratic Congress, which the people voted in. Why not go for a Democratic president to cooperate?
They're free to do so.
Exactly. We'll be back in just a minute now to talk about Illinois as well, sometimes called the classic American state, because so much of the country is represented in the one state. We'll talk about that, the challenge there, when we come back.
Ask anyone who's driven a Ford lately. Ask them about quality. One of the reasons 5 of the 10 best-selling cars and trucks in America are Fords. The F-Series pickup, Taurus, Explorer, Escort, and Ranger. 5 out of 10 of the country's best sellers. It's quality that breeds success. Have you driven a Ford lately? It's more than just a question. It's an answer.
Your breakfast, sir. This new Kellogg's Frosted Bran is quite sensible. Crispy flakes with whole wheat and bran, lightly frosted for a taste that's delicious. I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I love it. And new Kellogg's Frosted Bran has less sugar than you'd imagine, but the taste, it's out of...
We've got to stop serving this. New Kellogg's Frosted Bran, wildly delicious, sensibly good.
We've noticed that people generally don't like being told what to do. And if you box them in, they can become kind of ornery. That's why Bank of America offers 5 different kinds of checking. All simple yet distinct, which seems enough for now. In addition, some folks have suggested we offer waterproof checks. And, well, we're looking into it. Bank of America.
It is a soldier. He is a soldier. It is part of an army. He is an army. You've met the invaders, ants. Now, meet the exterminator, the Orkin Man. Armed with one of the most sophisticated pest control systems in the world, he wipes out ants, destroys the nest, and prevents their return. Guaranteed. The Orkin Man. One call destroys them all.
It's deer season at Clark County Equipment in Vancouver and Stark Street Lawn and Garden Equipment in Portland. Your local John Deere dealer is now offering big savings on assorted riding mowers, lawn tractors, and walk-behinds. Ask about their 30-day money-back guarantee and 90 days same as cash plan. Bring home a real trophy this deer season from Clark County Equipment and Stark Street Lawn and Garden Equipment, because nothing runs like a deer.
It's deer season at Clark County Equipment in Vancouver.
And at Stark Street Lawn and Garden Equipment in Portland through May 31st.
They all grew up in the same neighborhood. Now they all have autistic children. How could it happen? A medical mystery. Watch 2020 Friday.
Welcome back to our campaign coverage 92. We're going to talk now about Illinois next week, sometimes called the bellwether state, bellwether in the primaries and in the federal national election as well. A big delegate harvest there, 131 delegates to be won next week in Illinois. Joining us briefly, our political director, Hal Bruno, to explain in nice, simple language, Hal, why Illinois is such a bellwether state.
It's a cross-section of the entire country, Peter. Northern Illinois, around Chicago, is industrial and business. Central Illinois is Midwestern agriculture. Southern Illinois is like Dixie. It has all the racial, religious, and ethnic groups that make up this country. It's big, it's diversified, and only twice in this century has it failed to vote with the winner of a presidential election.
Okay, Hal, thanks very much. Now going to talk to us from Chicago tonight, James Thompson, the former Republican governor of Illinois. He's now a lawyer in Illinois. And Gary LaPelle, who is the Illinois Democratic Party chairman. Mr. LaPelle, if I may, I'd like to start with you and a Bill Clinton quote from Time magazine this week. Illinois is basically the ball game. If I score there, I've got the momentum to roll in the other big northern states. Lose there and, well, let's just say it won't be pretty. Illinois is the real test. Can Bill Clinton win it?
I think Bill Clinton is ahead of the other candidates, Tsongas and Brown, because Bill Clinton, I think, had a game plan about 6 or 8 months ago that after Super Tuesday, he wanted to win Illinois. He came here, he recruited political leaders, business leaders, contributors, and has got a good base. However, Tsongas, since New Hampshire, has been building a team, and Paul Tsongas is no longer the Maytag repairman.
But am I
His phone now rings.
Am I correct in guessing that there's really no comparison between the two operations?
No, Tsongas would have a lot of catching up to do from what base and apparatus that the Clinton campaign has put in.
And is that the difference to win in Illinois?
It very well could be. This momentum coming out of the South will greatly assist the Clinton campaign. I think it'll last for several days, and then it'll get a little more even as Tsongas moves in, and there are a couple of debates planned, one Friday night and one Sunday evening, that may tell it for both candidates as well as Jerry Brown. They're no longer in the regional playoffs. We're now heading into the Super Bowl next Tuesday.
This is the primary we're talking about. Now let's assume that Clinton wins the primaries and is nominated by the Democratic Party. Cast your mind ahead a little bit and tell us how he will do in an election against George Bush.
I think he'll do very well. This state is the highest state of unemployment of all the industrial states. We have over 500,000 people now on unemployment. There is no plan to get those people back to work, and people are fearing that they're going to be unemployed in the next month or two. George Bush, in 1988, only won this state by 50.6% of the vote, less than 95,000 votes. Jim Edgar, who ran for governor here 2 years ago, only won this state by 0.7%. With the numbers on George Bush right now, I will definitely predict that Bill Clinton, Paul Tsongas, or Jerry Brown can handily beat him in Illinois.
Governor Thompson, do you agree with any of that?
No, I don't agree with any of that.
Didn't think he would, did you?
I didn't think so, but I wanted to hear you say it. Go ahead. What do you think about it? We're talking about the election now.
The bottom line election in November?
Right.
I think it'll be a close contest in Illinois. It always is. Illinois, as you said in the opening, is the bellwether state. The last time that we voted on the losing side was in 1976 with Jerry Ford and Jimmy Carter, and I think that was because my margin for governor was so strong it kind of pulled Jerry Ford in. Usually we vote with the with the winner. I think a Bush-Clinton race, which I believe it will be in November, will be a close one, but I think George Bush can win it as he did last time.
On next week, Mr. Thompson, do you think it is a Bush-Buchanan race, or is it a Bush race-Buchanan protest?
I think it's what it's always been in this primary season. That is a Bush race, a Buchanan protest. And the encouraging thing about tonight, as I watched the program, was that the president's lead over Buchanan has been growing this week as opposed to last week. And I think we're on the way to demonstrating that Buchanan never could win, cannot win. And it is largely a protest vote, which I think the president and the campaign will have to overcome during the course of this spring and summer.
But if you are, as you say you are, and you are a bellwether state, what does a candidate have to say there and believe there to win in November?
I think three things have to occur for President Bush to repeat his victory, not only in Illinois, but across the nation. First, a little bit of luck. The economy has to turn around, and more importantly, the voters have to perceive that the economy has turned around, and those are two quite different things. Secondly, the president has to strongly confront the do-nothing Congress after March 20th, and I think he has to give them hell, as Harry Truman once did, very successfully, and at the same time keep up with the plan of his own. Thirdly, I think the president has to make clear over the course of this year what a second four-year term for George Bush will mean for America. Because Bill Clinton will have a plan for America. George Bush must have one too. And it's ultimately the clash of those two ideas for America for the next 4 years that's going to decide the race in the fall. I can remember when people were very mad at Ronald Reagan during the recession of 1982, which incidentally was a worse recession than this one. And a year later, a majority said they did not want him to run again for re-election. And a year later, he won 49 states to 1.
Jim Thompson, Gary Lapel, thank you both very much. It's interesting what he says about the recession and the perception of recession. The earlier recession was much worse than this one, but people perceive in all the polls that this one is deeper and that they are more troubled by it.
It's different. It's a different kind of people being laid off now. Computer programmers, people like that. They're not blue-collar factory workers. Not all of them. That didn't happen last time.
We'll be back. Sorry, David. No, please go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We'll be back in just a moment to talk to David again and our other colleagues as well.
Look at these red marks. These old glasses do nothing but pinch. They're a pain.
You don't have to put up with glasses that don't fit anymore.
Now LensCrafters brings you better fit for greater comfort. LensCrafters glasses fit your snug points with features like new self-adjusting snug fit pads that flex to gently and securely hug your nose.
No more pinching. I never knew glasses could be this comfortable.
LensCrafters, better fit for greater comfort. In about an hour.
It's good. It's real good.
It's home cooking soup.
It's not hot enough.
No? Well, better let me check. Gee, I'd say perfect. Charlie, what do you say?
Celery and carrots are mighty good.
Well, Stan, how about you?
Chicken's delicious. Noodles, too.
Golly, Fred, looks like you got nothing to complain about.
Gee, guys, thanks for nothing. Don't mention it.
Our pleasure.
The name is home cooking, and so is the taste. From Campbell's.
A luxury car says a lot about its owner.
Mine says I'm witty beyond belief.
Mine says I'm more Europeanish.
Mine says I'm the product of superior genes.
A luxury car says
I'm so successful I can go into debt.
I'm much more handsome. Cosmopolitan.
Another pathetic sheep following the herd.
Says a lot. I'm irresistible.
Powerful.
Stylish. Sexy.
Dynamic.
The all-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. All it says is that you bought a great car and you can still pay your mortgage.
The Maytag refrigerator. It's not only durable, it's adjustable, so that whatever the future holds, your Maytag will too. Buy one now and get the best warranty in the business.
Here goes my future.
Here's another actual winning moment from Publishers Clearinghouse.
Because you've just won $1 million.
The Perkins are brand new millionaires. You could be next. Publishers Clearinghouse, the house where dreams come true.
This is marvelous.
Tomorrow, interviews with Super Tuesday winners and losers.
Then what your rights are when you can't pay the bills. Plus Kiefer Sutherland here on Good Morning America tomorrow.
We haven't got an awful lot of time left, and not to be too self-serving about it, we want to spend the remaining few minutes listening to two of our favorite, brightest people. Cokie Roberts, who's been with the Clinton campaign in Chicago tonight, and Jeff Greenfield, who's in our Washington bureau. I said a moment ago that Cokie could talk about anything she wanted. She said, good, so go ahead.
What do you think that's going to produce? Let's see. Cokie?
Well, I think that in looking ahead to Illinois and Michigan, which we've said already really are the key tests now, that Clinton is, as you've heard, very well positioned, but there are a couple of very important caveats there. One is that you have seen a very angry vote in these primaries. The percentage of people in both parties who said they were either dissatisfied or angry with the federal government varied somewhere between 75 and 85% of them. And keep in mind that in Michigan, George Wallace did very well when he ran. So you could have a big angry vote there. That could help Jerry Brown, for instance. And here in Illinois, if the black turnout is as low as our polling unit tells me it was in the South today, then that means that the white Catholic vote, the percentage of that goes up. That sounds like it should be good for Paul Tsongas because he's done better with that vote. So even though we've been painting a very nice picture for Bill Clinton in these two states coming up next week, I think there's still a race here, and there's a lot of money being spent on advertising in both Detroit and Chicago. All those hard economic times you've been hearing about could be improved by these candidates over the next week.
Cokie, at one point today, you and I talked about how it was going to cut for women on both the Democrat and the Republican side. What did you find in the exit polls that impressed you?
Well, what was very interesting and what's been interesting in the Republican primaries since New Hampshire is how low the female turnout has been. Normally in exits we see more women voting than men because there are more women than men. Sorry, boys. But the
Why are you sorry? We're not.
Well, good. But in the Republican primaries you've been seeing very few women turn out, and perhaps that's their protest. While the men are voting for Buchanan as a protest, the women are staying home.
Okay, Cokie, thanks. Let's go to Washington now on ABC's Jeff Greenfield. It's almost a little riskier to say to Jeff, say what's on your mind, but go ahead. We dare you.
Okay. First, I want to make you a prediction, even though I hate them. In Michigan, you're going to see the Buchanan campaign, among other things, wallop the Bush campaign for employing at the top levels people who've also lobbied for the Japanese. With the economy the way it is in Michigan, I can see Buchanan trying to push that button very hard. Second thing, even though Clinton did very well tonight in the South, I'm looking back for a minute, remember in recent primaries in the South, the disaffected Democrats simply haven't voted. They've waited till November, they've come back, and they voted Republican. And even though Bill Clinton did very well, that was a relatively small group of Democrats, and we won't know for months if he is the nominee whether he's actually going to get the South when it counts. I just want to put that on the table because we're all talking about what a great night Bill Clinton had.
You got another 45 seconds.
Okay. Well, one more thing. In Illinois in 1984, Gary Hart surged out of Super Tuesday, had a huge lead, and Mondale turned it around by attacking Hart very hard on experience and judgment in 5 days. Look for a very tough anti-Clinton message from Paul Tsongas in the days ahead.
So you think that Tsongas and Clinton are getting to get even meaner than they were in Florida?
Tougher. Meaner, I don't know, but it's got to be tough because Tsongas's people have to know it's now or never, to coin a phrase.
Okay, thanks very much, Jeff, and thanks, Cokie. Last word from you, David?
I've been impressed by the sudden, miraculous discovery that in this country we have a middle class. Tomorrow evening, we'll have had a handle on the day after, I hope. Thanks, David, very much.
We'll see you at the next one. I'm Peter Jennings in New York. Thank you for joining us. Good night.